When we reviewed the top-of-the-line Vios G way back then, we mentioned that everybody wants to stand out. However, see, the Vios doesn't exactly do that. It's a common car, as we said back then, albeit with good reason. Now it seems Toyota wants to change all of that, hopefully with this new variant. Bearing the Gazoo Racing name, this is the 2021 Toyota Vios GR-S. If you've been living under a rock, Gazoo Racing is Toyota's in-house motorsport division. They've had success in the World Endurance, WRC, and even winning the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans back-to-back. Then they take their expertise on the track to the road with cars like the GR Supra, which we loved oh so much, and the GR Yaris, born out of the WRC program. But as for the GR Sport line, like the Vios we have here and many other cars around the world, it's mainly used on cars that are given various sporty interior and exterior features. Now with the GR-S treatment, the Vios gets a much more aggressive look, starting with the bumpers up front and at back, skirts, a lip spoiler, and even new 16-inch wheels. You still get the same LED lights all around, and the headlights in particular, oh man, I really like a lot. The elements on the front clip are a signature of GR-S brand Toyotas. It really does make for a sportier and unique front end. And if you look at the lower half, it kind of reminds you of a Lexus, really. I wonder where they got that from. The rear, however, that's a completely different story because I'm really not too sure about these plastics found down here. And the rear diffuser, well, I'm not exactly sure what it's diffusing because it ends right about there. Kinda odd. When you do open her up, however, you are looking at over 300 liters of space. Would have been more if the seats folded. Unfortunately, they don't. However, you do have a full-size spare with the same mags that are on this car. The interior remains the same for the most part in the GR-S, but there are some bits in here quite unique to this variant. First off, the instrument cluster. It's in a different layout, and it even starts up with a big Gazoo Racing logo on the screen. Red stitching can be found everywhere in the cabin, from the armrest, steering wheel, and seats. And speaking of seats, the GR-S comes with these awesome leather seats with Alcantara and great bolstering with ergonomics to boot. Even the back seats have support to keep passengers in place, and the materials do make it a tad bit comfier than in the G. There are no toys here though, no vents or charging points or even a center armrest. And in case you forget what you're in, bam! Overall, they do a good job to keep you in place, and the materials prevent you from sliding around when you're taking corners at speed. Ooh. Sadly, they are not powered, and for taller drivers, even at its lowest setting, they sit a bit higher than you'd want them to be, so paired with the fact that the steering wheel isn't telescopic and it's quite close to the dash, a little adjusting is needed to get familiar with the driving position in this Vios. Okay, so the seats may not be powered, but just think of it this way. It's trying to keep the cost down, which is a good thing. In terms of tech in here, to aid you in your daily drives, the infotainment screen does serve its purpose, but it isn't excellent. The backup camera is kind of blurry, and the screen itself isn't the clearest. Music sometimes skips, like a CD for some reason, when connected via USB. Overall, the look in here is simple and it will stand the test of time. But in this segment, the features and interior on the GR-S are much more modern. AutoDeal.com.ph can connect you to get the best quote from multiple dealerships near you. You can request and compare quotes from any dealership in the Philippines. Get the best deal with AutoDeal. It's all standard Vios in here. The cabin is decently quiet. The ride, not really the greatest on the planet thanks to our blemished roads in the Philippines. Compared to its closest rival, the GR-S, it's, I would say, a little bit better thanks to noise isolation. We actually compared those two, the GR-S and the Vios G, and if you're interested, do check it out right here. Now, the 10-speed CVT that this car prides itself to have, and you can even see the badges on the side, really doesn't make much of a difference in terms of fuel economy, that is. See, on a trip outside Manila to Clark, we were doing about 21 kilometers per liter on the highway, and inside the city, we were doing about 8.5. so really just about the same as the G. I do think a 10-speed is a bit too much, although it is a CVT and those 10 gears are just artificial, like a veggie burger. Ugh, so dry. And just like a plant-based quote-unquote meat, although it's good for you like a CVT is for fuel economy, I gotta admit, it's just never gonna feel like the real thing. It's not like a steak. Give me a steak. Like, knock its horns off, wipe its nasty old ass, and chuck it on my plate. Good meat. In manual mode, when shifting up, it just feels like you're being nudged to the next gear. And to be honest with you, we never really got past 6th, pushing it up to reasonable speeds. Now, as for the motor, it's the same 1.5 liter as found in the G, so it's quite fuel efficient as we mentioned. The power comes in more at the top end, so it quietly rolls along at a normal pace, keeping the noise inside down to a minimum. Now, though the pattern of the wheels are different, it's actually the exact same size. The odd thing is that the steering feels a little bit heavier. Maybe to add to its sportiness, yeah, sure. Is it heavy though, like you're wrestling a gator? No, nothing like that. It actually just makes you feel more planted, and I actually quite like it. Now, on longer drives, it can get a little bit tiring. And I know I'm gonna sound like a spoiled brat here, but there isn't cruise control in the automobile, which I wish it had. The good thing though is that if you wanna have fun, there is an eco and a power button available and paddle shifters to give you even more control of the automobile. So devoid of the cruise control, but with paddle shifters, yeah, I'll take it. If there is one gripe that I have, and it's not nitpicking, it's the fact that it might take you some time to get to the proper seating position. Not because of the chairs, no, but because of actually the steering wheel. See, it does move up and down, but it's not telescopic. It's actually quite close to the dash. So taller passengers and actually even shorter passengers might have to find a compromise really to get to that proper seating position. Not that it's going to be bothersome the entire time, no, it's just, well, it will take some time for you to get to the position that you feel comfortable with driving this automobile for what will most likely be for a very long time. The 2021 Toyota Vios GR-S is available at 1,020,000 Philippine pesos, and what you're getting really is a proven platform. You get good fuel economy, you got the ridiculous reliability of Toyota, and then you've got features that make it a good daily driver that you can keep for a very long time. This car's look stems from Toyota's motorsport heritage, and although you won't be running circles around the competition in terms of performance, you will be turning heads.